What's going on, you guys? It's your Huggable Hipster here, and welcome back to Aesthetically Techie, the podcast where we talk about gaming news, technology, stuff just with YouTube, streamer stuff, anything in between that you can imagine. We talk about it here, and today I have not only a new streamer and YouTuber to the whole, I don't even know what to call it, the YouTube family. It sounds like a mafia group whenever you talk about it that way, but welcome in Silver to the podcast. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Honestly, I feel like we're both so tired right now because it's just like, oh my god, we're excited, but we're also like, oh, caffeine, and we need it.
Sleep deprived. Yes. Oh my god, I just love how you said YouTube Mafia. Like, huh? Am I finally getting introduced into this big group thing? Oh my god.
It's like
so much
we're gonna
pressure.
talk about it. We're gonna have a little bit of a discussion if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm not ready.
It's kind of one of those things where you just have to dive in and just hope for the best.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. Oh, goodness.
So what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to just go over YouTube basics. I mean, the thing is that, like, we actually have someone on the channel now who, and by we, I mean all of us, are, like, being, introduced to someone who is new to someone, who is new to YouTube, who's new to Twitch, who's basically new to a lot of this world in general. And I think it's really cool to get, like, kind of a bird's eye view into the mental process and what they're experiencing. So, Silver, I kind of want to get to know, like, what your thought process was whenever you decided to go, like, dive into content, because you are fairly new at this.
Yes, I am. I, barely started, oh god, it's 6-7 months now ago. I just started. Yeah, so I'm like a newborn new. It's been crazy. I first started when I had a big group of friends and stuff. We were laughing. We constantly streamed together. It was almost like a daily thing. And then my life got busy. So it was more of a, okay, maybe occasionally here. And then I started to develop a schedule. After I just developed a schedule, I met some new people through other friends. So in my mind was like, how am I going to do all this? But then I met people who helped me, guided me and stuff. And in the process of going to someone else, I lost a friendship. Which was like, huh? But I've also noticed there's a lot of competition in this and jealousy. If you don't go to that specific person for help on anything, it causes drama. So I'm guessing they got upset with me because I skyrocketed in such a short amount of time. Because after 3 months of streaming, I got affiliated, which I don't know how often that happens, but
no, that happens. And that's the thing where, like, people have a head up their ass and they think that, it can't happen quickly for people. But for a lot of people who have the talent and who have the capabilities to do so, it skyrockets for them. Like myself, for example, when I started streaming and I started taking it actually, really seriously, I got there in, roughly the same amount of time you did.
Wow. Because technically I've been streaming a year, but I had to take a big hiatus because of medical issues and stuff. And then these last 7 months recently, so basically I've been doing it for a year and a half now. I basically made a schedule, stuck to it, made sure if I wasn't going to be there, I let people know, that kind of thing, and I skyrocketed. I also noticed that there's a lot of foot traffic I get sometimes, but I've also learned that, some people might help you bring in the foot traffic, but you're the person that they stay for, and I've learned that a lot. So having those little hints and tricks, it does help a lot, but if you're really new with no one to help you, you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
At all, honestly, unless you've done it before.
Yeah, and that's...
I have, it's that mindset, what do I do that? But I got lucky. I had friends who was able to help me, guide me, help me go, basically say, just be yourself on camera. Yes, maybe tone it down a little bit, but still be yourself on camera, that kind of thing. And I was like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, even the advice to tone it down, I don't think they should have said that. You should never tone down who you are.
Well, the thing is, I'm a giant scaredy cat. So the littlest things scare the fuck out of me. So my screams are horrible. If you have not seen my stream, it's funny. The littlest things scare the hell out of me. Not the big stuff. Not normally the big stuff. It's the tiny things where you just turn and someone's just right there and you just jump.
Yeah, I've seen that. I remember in stream whenever you were playing Dead by Daylight, and I was like, that person was just like right there. He was just standing there, minding his own business.
And I jump and scream. I'm like, ah, like, oh my god, he's right there. Oh.
And I think that's the thing too with with new streamers and with new YouTubers and everything like that. I feel like there's sort of like, correct me if I'm wrong, but this kind of intimidation, because when I started on YouTube, not on Twitch. So for me, it was kind of like this kind of balancing act of where you had to navigate the YouTube drama, but you also had to navigate what you were talking about. Is like, if you don't go to that one person for help, you're kind of seen as like the outcast in the way.
Yeah, basically. Well, on Twitch, it's more of like you're thrown in there and you have to learn to swim on your own. Like, you're thrown to the sharks, and it's not really more family based like YouTube is. It's more, all right, you're tossed in, survive.
Yeah.
Huh? It's like float or sink kind of thing. Now, if you get lucky and find some other people who are willing to help, yeah, you could float higher. But if you have no idea what you're doing, you can sink so far, and you're like, well, what? Look what I've got myself into. And some people like quit right there. Some people go, okay, what do I need to do different? And I've noticed that so many people usually chase oh my god, talk woman follows the
early.
first pathway and not the second. It is way too early. Sorry, excuse my language, but
I am vicariously sending you coffee through the screen right now.
God, I want coffee so bad, but it makes me so freaking jittery.
I'll have coffee for the both of us. I'll energize you through the energy of the act of podcasting.
I honestly, I've been so lucky, because if I didn't have friends who basically knew what they're doing, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now.
And that's the thing. If we're like, it's knowing that balance of like who to trust in the industry, who your friends can be, all that kind of stuff. But when it really comes down to it all, it's really self-dependent a lot of the time.
Yes.
And that's actually leads up to my next question that I wanted to ask you. Since you are new in the game, no pun intended, what are some things that you are looking forward to in growing with your content?
Getting more people to chat with me, because I like being able to engage with my chat, because I do love my small community, but having other people come and go, oh, she's a lot of fun, and coming back and talking and want to learn more about stuff or anything. I like connecting with people. I'm like a social butterfly, but I like being in my own little world too. So I'm like an introverted social butterfly. It takes me a while to open up, but once I'm due, I'm not going to stop talking.
And that's good. That's really good. That's beneficial for, Twitch and YouTube even. Like, and I wasn't sure, are you going to be doing YouTube as well, or are you just going to be doing Twitch for right now?
I think I'm just going to do Twitch for right now. I am learning how to edit, which I have not touched it since I got the program, because my life has been hectic as hell.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's been so ridiculous. And then we had that surprise we were supposed to do that never happened. It fell through, which sucks, but we'll not get into that today. We'll get it on a different day. But yeah, I really do want to get into YouTube, but right now not in the schedule opening right now, but hopefully soon I'll be able to, once I learn how to edit decently, not horribly, but decently, not the best, but
yeah, it's a process. That's one thing that I will say as someone who's been editing now for since college, like over 7-8 years now. It's one thing of where like practice always makes perfect, and it's so cliche to say. Anybody who's hearing this right now, it's going to be like, Ariel, why are you giving that advice? It's so cliche. I know. It fucking is. But
it's true, though.
Whenever you're first starting to edit, all of those like little mistakes and everything like that, you learn from so fast whenever you publish a video, because like unfortunately, so many people don't like to point out the good in a person's video. They like to point out the bad. So
it's all the negative.
So like you'll get that rare person that gives like constructive criticism, but when you do like your first couple of videos, don't expect the best. Always just expect like, hey, I'm gonna learn from this.
Because I already have one video out, but it has no editing to it. It's just one game of Dead by Daylight with Michael Myers, and my friend was in it, and he's terrified of Michael Myers, so I had to finally get it out of camera. of his screams and stuff. It was
Oh
great,
gosh.
but oh my gosh, it was fun. But yeah, I've noticed that I have no edits on it, nothing, and I'm like, I don't have the tools for this yet. And then I met you, and now I have an option to do that. Only issue is I recorded that in MKV, which I found the freaking hard way that you can't do that. So I finally switched over to MPV files on my studio, OBS studio, and I haven't tried recording yet, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes well. So
Yeah, OBS is one of those systems that you either love or you hate. And for like basic stuff, like for example, for those of you who are listening who want to know like how I record this stuff, I use OBS to record her audio, and then I use Mixcraft to record my audio. OBS is perfect for this kind of small stuff because it doesn't overload the program too much. Once you start getting into bigger territory like games and stuff like that, I tried to record Death Stranding and it completely crapped out on me. Like OBS was just like, I'm not doing this today, okay? So the next thing I kind of want to get into is what your view of the platforms are, because whenever I have like other streamers and YouTubers on here, they've kind of cemented what their brand is and what they know about the platform because they've done it for a while. And I want to get your view on what you think of like all of these different types of platforms and what the content structure is like, kind of like the whole vibe that you get from each one. Do you think that YouTube and Twitch are just the same, or do you think that they have their own merits?
Oh, they have their own merits because I've noticed with Twitch, you're basically on your own, and if you mess up, it could be really, really bad, and there's like no talking back and forth with it. Because you've seen some of the stuff that they did. Someone showed private parts on there and got a 3-day ban, but someone called someone a bitch, and she got banned for infinite. Like, huh? Their thing is backwards. I love Twitch and stuff, but their curriculum is so backwards that being a female streamer is very, very. I have to be more careful than anything else on there than probably YouTube, because I've noticed YouTube's more family friendly, more open to discussing stuff. They have their cons as well, with things like being demonetized constantly and stuff. But I've noticed that they're more willing to, okay, you made a mistake. Let's see what we can kind of work with to make it better for both of us. That kind of thing. I have noticed that, and it's kind of like I want to try both and see where I fit in. Yeah, Twitch is nice and all, but constantly having to be live and stuff, it just gets tiring. I love it, but it just sometimes I just want to play gameplay and then cut certain things out so it's not dead silence, which when I'm focused on the game, it does happen.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're concentrating so hard that you forget what you're doing, that you're streaming and trying to talk to people, and you go, oh shoot, yeah, hi, that kind of thing. With YouTube, you can cut it and go, so there's no dead space. So there's always some sort of talking, and especially if there's a good part, you can like enhance it more instead of just kind of have it, oh, that was nice, clip it, send it to me kind of thing, and then that's it.
Exactly, and that's one major thing. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people think that like, oh, we'll just have the silence in there. It's fine, don't worry about it. But that's the major thing about difference about YouTube and Twitch, right? Is that you're seeing the person live. You're seeing the person when they're actually like in their zone playing a game. No cuts, no any of that. So it's a lot more raw, I feel. And
Yes.
with YouTube, there could be so many cuts, so many different types of variations of the same video that you can do over and over again. And I feel like that's a cool thing, but that's also a dangerous thing because in that sense, like, that's why we see so many YouTubers who are kind of manipulative, right? They take things into their own hands and they're just like, well, I'm not on Twitch, so if it's live, they necessarily can't get away with saying the shit that they do. But if it's, in an edited version.
Recorded.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So if it's edited,
yeah,
they can be like, okay, let me just edit this out.
Yeah, it's like they could say what they want, and then they're just like, oh, I'll just cut that out later. On live Twitch, you can't say certain things, otherwise you're done, dead, kind of thing. And I have noticed too, if your mom, like I am a mom of 2 boys. I'm constantly away from my desk, even when I'm streaming live, because I have to be mom. I've got to change diapers, feed a kid, or anything like that. So I'm constantly going back and forth. So there's that dead space there too. It's just like, I'm sorry guys, but mom duty first.
Exactly. And you know, guys, she's a badass at what she does. Like, she can multitask like no other. Because when it comes down to it, like, I've watched a lot of her streams, and since like I'm a new fan to the Silver Wolf Club, okay, but whatever, like, she does a lot of her streams, she'll like be very upfront about what she does, the way that she runs, and everything like that. But she still makes time for her community, which I think I don't know how you do it honestly with a kid.
I don't either. And that's with two. That's just the thing. And the thing is, too, my oldest is autistic, so that makes it even harder, too. And trying to find a balance between communicating with him and being able to do what I'm actually starting to love and be mom, too. It's like trying to find that balance, and it's.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's tricky.
lost my train of thought.
It's really tricky.
Yeah.
And that actually
It's very
kind of
tricky.
leads into what I want to talk about next, is the community aspect of what you're experiencing so far. Because we, like, okay, so whenever excuse me, whenever we like start Twitch, and when we start YouTube or whatever platform it is, we want to be able to build that community, right? That kind of like homestead that we can come to and be like, hey, you know, we've had a long day, let's all chill together and everything like that. From the community that you have been building so far, what can you say about, you know, like the progress of it? Because I feel like so many streamers and, you know, YouTubers especially, are so used to having a community that they don't really take the time to kind of like reflect in a way on what they've built so far. And I only know this out with like some YouTubers and everything. What do you notice about like from where you started to where you are right now with your community?
But it started out with just friends, and now I'm having people I don't really know coming in, joining, talking, and hanging. So now I like know them by like, oh hey, how you doing? Long time no see, kind of thing. They're not just friends in my immediate group. They're like friends of friends, or they just popped in and go, oh, she's interesting. Let's follow her, that kind of thing. And I've been very, very lucky because I haven't had too many toxic people, but I also don't put myself out there as much as I should because being a female gamer really does suck.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Sometimes, especially in a FPS game, like shooter game, like Rainbow Six Siege, for the first time I did that, I was like, hey, come check out my Twitch kind of thing. And next thing I know, I am getting racist slurs and very, very sexist stuff, and I'm just like, okay, you're banned now. For the first time, I finally put myself out there and say, hey, come check out my Twitch, and that's the first thing I get. I'm like, okay, yep, not doing that again. Like, I want to, but it's that fear of being called that whore or slut and stuff, and then it was just like, are you serious? Like, come on, guys. Like, yeah, I didn't do as well as I should, but they're mad because I did better than them.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing too. I think it's a lot of a jealousy kind of thing too, because whenever you look at a lot of the randos that come in, so to speak, you see so many people who are basically like have a lot of keyboard courage to type out any old thing that they want to you know, type out or say. So whenever you see people like that, and you know, it's kind of weird that, you know, we're talking about this, and I actually left Twitch, you know. So I left the platform because of the harassment, because of a lot of the stuff that was going on. And so many people were like, but that's the territory. That's what. And I was like, no, you should never have to deal with that kind of harassment.
Have to deal with that. Never.
Never.
No. You should feel safe and have someone, especially with the company you're working for, feel protected by them. If they're not going to do their job, it's not a safe place to be at. Yeah, there's some girls who can, or women, sorry, more women actually, women who can actually handle that and actually deal with it very, very well. But there's some people who can't. And I actually handled it pretty well from what I think I did. I just looked at it, kind of go, sure. And I just basically ignored it. I didn't answer any of it. I'm like, okay, dude, last warning. Come on, stop. Like, that's not okay. All right, you're banned. And I didn't like let them know. It was like, I just looked at it like, really? You're gonna pull this shit now? I'm like, I'm enjoying having fun, but you're gonna just start doing name calling and stuff. And luckily, I have an amazing mod who's like doesn't type bullshit from anybody. And oh my god, after I banned him, he went in because I got an unban request. I was like, I'm not handling that right now. My mod was like, nope, not happening. Reported and okay in general.
Exactly. And that's the thing of where, like, for a lot of new streamers who are possibly listening to this, do you, like, as a new streamer yourself, because, like I said, normally when I'm talking to a lot of streamers, they've done this for a while. So I kind of want to get your input on what advice you would give, like, brand new streamers like yourself for the Twitch universe.
Well, the thing is, I saw my husband do it when we were still like newly dating, and I saw he was having fun with it. He still hasn't made affiliate, but he was having fun with it and stuff. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I finally had a chance to do it, and actually turned out pretty well because now I'm able to. Yeah, I'm not getting much right now, but slightly support my family, but still be home for the boys. So maybe like 10 years in the future, hey, they have a field trip. All right, I can go, not worry about missing work or taking a day off because I have a set schedule and that kind of thing. Or if I do need to take a day off, it's like, oh, hey guys, no stream today, doing some family plans. And everyone's like, okay, okay, have a good day. Instead of like, well, what about this, this, and this, and this, and this? And you have to report to somebody else. It's no, it's more self employed, your time. Yes, it's harder that way, trying to keep up with it, but you're your own boss, which is nice, but still trying to find that balance. A lot with everything is trying to find that balance. Being a mom, being a wife, being a Twitch streamer or a YouTuber, it's trying to find that balance with everyday life and being that content
Yeah.
creator.
I think that's a really good thing you pointed that out too. It's all about trying to find balance, and that's the thing of where, like, it takes time, but that growth and that kind of, that, I don't want to say popularity because that's the wrong term to use here, but popularity, for lack of a better word, that you are experiencing, that's kind of like a steady growth, and you got that very early on. And I feel like, to your advantage, that will work out so well because you have a very vivacious personality. You're easy to get along with, and we became friends very, very easily. I just want to let you know right now, guys, like, within the
Yes.
first time that we started talking, we instantly clicked.
Oh, we did. It was so funny. And the person who introduced us was like, oh, fuck, what have I done? I messed up. And we're like, yeah, yeah, you did. And it came to bite them in the ass later, but yeah, it we we clicked so fast, so quick, and we actually had we what met like what 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago,
yeah, it's only
and
3 weeks
we
ago.
have I know we have so many matches between us that it's like we've been friends for like three
Yeah,
years.
exactly. And that's what I absolutely love because this is the part about not just the streaming community, but just the content creation community in general that I have such a passion for is stuff like this. Where you get to know the person, you get to know their background, you get to understand their motives and what they love and what their fears and anticipations are and all that kind of stuff that makes them human. And I feel like that's one of the beauties about the content creation universe, that no matter how much it may be tainted at times from certain things, that's one thing that can never be taken away.
And it's just funny because we just immediately clicked and we just were like teasing and making comments and we're just both going like, oh, okay, I like her. I like her a lot. We said that a lot. We did. We were like I made a comment. You're like, ooh, I like her. I like it. Like you made some sort of comment. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Yes, continue. Like that kind. We were just like clicking, and we would have talks, but we wouldn't go off on a tangent where we were just rambling. It was like actual good discussions where we had points on points on points, but we also were like, okay, yeah, I may not agree with that, but I see your point of view. This is how I see it, and we were able to talk it out. And that's the thing, is being able to, yeah, maybe have different viewpoints or disagreements, but still respect each other's
And that's
opinion.
what a good friendship is too, because like you look at it from however way you want to slice it. Like we did like we said before, we met like fairly recently, like only 3 or so weeks ago, and to have
Yeah.
a friendship blossom that fast to one of where like now we're already collabing on certain types of content and everything like that. I think it's absolutely wonderful, and it just shows like the kind of diversity that is within the gaming community. Like you have moms, you have work at home females, you have nurses, you have doctors, you have doctors who are gamers full time, and I absolutely love
Yeah.
that so
There's
much.
celebrities who are
Yeah.
gamers, which is awesome. Henry, the guy who played The Witcher
Oh,
3.
Henry Cavill, yes, bless my heart. Oh my god, that
Hey,
man.
yes. Or Jordan, what's his name? He was on Dancing with the
Oh, I know
Stars.
who you're talking about.
He won. He's a gamer, and I saw it on that Twitch. It was like a celebrity thingy, and they did like get like three streamers, three kind of like medium streamers to bump him up, kind of more kind of thing. It was that kind of. It was a weird thing. It was like a TV
I
show. I
love
don't know.
that.
It
I
was
know who you're
cool.
talking about. I don't remember his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's excuse me, it's one of those things of where like you have gamers from all walks of life, and it's so funny because I remember seeing an interview that Henry Cavill did, and he said, oh well, I before I ever got the part for The Witcher, I played the video games, and then I read the books, and then I really like wanted this part and everything, and people got like kind of like weirded out by hearing like, oh, an actor is a video gamer or something, or like a gamer or something like that. It's like, why are you weirded out by that? Like, why is gaming?
They're
Yeah, like
human
why is gaming still to a degree a taboo subject?
still, and especially if you say, "Oh yeah, I'm going into self business gaming or streaming and stuff like that." They give you a look like, "Yeah, you're gonna fail." Like, no, I'm not. And you can prove it with certain people like moms, females, especially we have so many role models now that it's ridiculous, and that's so nice to see. Valkyrie,
Markiplier.
Pokimane, Markiplier, but especially the females like Auto. Oh, what's her name? Auto, Automan and the
Oh
Auto,
yeah,
ammunition. Ammunition.
yeah,
That's
I
her
know what
name.
you're talking about. Yeah.
Like all she does is FPS, and look how freaking good she is, and how big she's gotten.
And that's the thing, to her credit, and also the YouTuber Is Cupquake, like she's absolutely incredible. Like she started kind of like doing the stereotypical like gamer girl quotes and stuff like that, and playing off of it kind of like a pun in a way, but now she's built a
Mm-hmm.
brand for herself around what she loves to do, and I feel like a lot of people have that potential to be able to do that and are self starters, and I feel like they almost get scared to a degree because it's like they feel like they can't make it, or they're afraid of the critique, or they're afraid of getting backlash just because of their gender, and it's like that's the hard part. I feel like is hard pill to swallow,
Yeah.
because we have so many
It
amazing
is.
content creators. I mean, like you, like for example, I'm gonna take you for example because you're on the show. You are an amazing content creator. You don't see it yet because you just started, but I see your potential, and I see where you're going with things, and I see that you have the capability to blossom into something really big.
Oh,
No, it's true.
you give
It's
me
true, guys.
blush.
Seriously, like I will have her links down in the description below. Please be sure to follow her. And that leads me into discussing the last topic of the podcast.
Okay.
So, throughout the time that I've been on YouTube, which is almost 5 years
Mm-hmm.
now, in April, I feel like an old grandma right now on YouTube. See, my kid go off to primary. It's like, see you later. But,
Oh my
but
gosh.
one thing I want to know is, do you have kind of like an ideal game that you would create for yourself? If you ever had the opportunity to create a game, what would it be? And would it be more of like an FPS game that you could stream, or more of a sit down story type game that you could play? It's always intrigued me to get people's answers on this, because I think the variation of what people would create would be really cool.
I actually would like a storytelling FPS because those are very, very rare. That would be so much fun because I love shooter games, but I love the story modes. Like Assassin's Creed story mode is so nice, or even Skyrim story mode. Just that story mode of just that lore and stuff, and all the things you learn, you just get so wrapped into it. Oh, don't get me started on storytelling games, because I have my husband, my wonderful husband, after he bought me a PlayStation 4 for my birthday, for Chris no for no it was Valentine's Day. This man bought me Skyrim, and the Skyrim book, the big it's a big black book full of all the lore,
Ooh, very
characters,
nice.
creatures, spells. It it's thick, thick with like 4 C's. It's huge, and I got so into it that I started actually reading it just to read it, and I had to stop myself. Like, I can't do this. It's getting too bad. Oh
I
my god, I'm
I
getting
love that
addicted.
so much. Oh my god, that's actually the way I am with art books for games. Like I can't
Hmm.
stop reading them. Like I built up a collection. It's just like this is an expensive addiction right now. I can't afford to do this. Like I love whenever people do that because it's just like they by people getting you that kind of stuff, they see the potential in you. And that's one thing that I want to, kind of point out to a lot of new creators is that if people like do something just as simple as either getting you a place like it's something simple, but it's something that's kind of like a gesture on its own, getting that PlayStation 4 or getting that Skyrim book. It's kind of like them saying, hey, I know you're interested in this, I know you want to do something like this. And I think those kinds of gestures are just the sweetest things ever.
Yes, I'm very lucky because he's so supportive of me doing this. Every time I stream that, every time he's awake he puts it on. So he's
Oh,
watching.
I love that.
He's always watching when he can. If he's asleep during one of those, he'll apologize profusely that he couldn't make it and stuff, and it's always there for the next one after that.
That's just so sweet.
Because it's so nice because, yeah, he may not talk in them. I noticed that he didn't talk to him, but he sits there and listen. He has it where he's listening and stuff and giving me that support with views and stuff. But he's just there. And it's just so nice because he's basically the reason why I started into PC gaming. He built my computer for
Oh,
me.
I love that. Oh my gosh, we love a supportive couple. I love that.
And the thing is, I would do the same for him. If he wants to go into streaming too, fine. Let me help you with the way other people help me. Let me give you all the tips and tricks so you can get build faster and stuff. So we're, but he wants to do other stuff, and I'm like, okay. But if you want to, we can.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I like too about whenever like it's not just like couples who support one another. It's friendships in general because I feel like it's so crucial whenever you start streaming or start YouTube or TikTok or whatever platform it is that you may be on, that you have to have that supportive outlet behind you, because
Yeah.
whenever you like if you're doing it on your own, it's a lot more difficult to
Oh yeah.
start and get that kind of like the cojones to do it behind you, because it's really interesting because like I see so many kids who are starting TikTok, who are doing all these things on their own, and they don't even tell their parents about it. And I'm like, I have a lot of respect for that, but also tell your parents what you're doing, please. Like
Seriously,
honestly,
please.
let your parents know what apps you're on. And this is me being like, Mom Ariel, because I don't want to have kids in the future. You know this, like a lot of
Hmm.
people do. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things of where like, please, if you're using an app, at least tell your parents what apps you're downloading before you are of the age of 18, because when you are before the age of 18, you are still under their roof. They're still paying for your meals,
Yes.
they're still paying for your housing, so you owe them that much. At least I got on a tangent a little bit there, but seriously.
It's okay. But it's true though. You never know what could happen. It's honest. The cyberbullying, the cyber stalking, that kind of stuff, you still gotta be careful. And it happens more than you realize. It really does. It's just people are more sneakier about it, more manipulative about it, and you just
Yeah, and it's one of those chaotic things of where like a kid who is just learning how to use social media might not know
mhm.
like the tell signs of stuff like that.
Yes,
So it's
like we
yeah,
do now.
exactly. So I mean like,
We had to learn at an early age because we're
oh yeah.
females. Walking at night and stuff, we had to learn how to be careful, how what to have, what to hold, what not to hold, what to and stuff like. Don't walk at night, but if you have a key between your
Exact.
fingers
Oh, I was
or
taught that.
something, that kind of thing. It's that kind of thing, because or you can't have headphones in because you have to listen for if someone's following behind you or it's like that's ingrained to us since we turned the age of
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, I remember walking in Manhattan with my mom showing me how to hold the keys in between my fingers just to make sure that, I had something to protect me. That's crazy.
Texas, yeah.
Oof.
And that happens here because actually, before I started all this, and this was many years ago, I'm walking to my job. I just got off the light rail, and it's like subway for you guys, but it's above ground. Um, just got off the light rail and stuff. I'm walking. It's like really early in the goddamn morning. God forbid. Walking, had headphones on. It's cold out too, so I have my hood up, my hands in my pocket, walking to work. I see a guy coming towards me, zigzagging, so I know he's fucking drunk. I keep walking past him. He said something to me, and I speed up. I get to my job, and I told the boss what happened, and he was like, well, you did several things wrong. I'm like, excuse me, what? I'm like, I also had a knife on me, dude. He's like, well, what if he took it? I'm like, first off, he didn't even know I had a knife on me. You didn't even know I had a knife on me until I told you. I'm like, white male attitudes is just so frustrating because I'm like, yes, I may be small, but there's things I have not told my boss that I do karate and I had for a while, and yeah, I may not be in it, but I still keep up the techniques and the forms and stuff because it's protection for myself. Now it's protection for my family because it's like, no, like I'm not gonna just sit there and let someone grab me and go, hey, no, I'm gonna fight my ass off because all the things I've learned to do. And if, like, God forbid, something does happen, I'm not gonna just sit there and take it. I'm gonna fight. Especially if it's like to protect myself or my kids. It's like, no, you can't say I did things wrong, like having my hood up or headphones on, because that saved me in the end. Because if I turned around and responded to him, what God knows what would have happened. Because I made it look like I'm busy and I'm on my way to work and don't want to be bugged. He left me alone. That I had somewhere to be. I wasn't just strolling around. I'm walking fast. I walk like a New Yorker. I walk so freaking fast because I was taught to.
Yeah. That's exactly like, oof, geez, that brings back so many memories of, like, being in the city and everything like that, learning all the ropes and everything, because you have to, you don't have a choice. And I feel like you would teach your sons the same way, but kind of only, like, watch out for the females and protect them instead of, like,
Yeah.
you know
Or don't treat them like that too, because we also have to learn how to that we need to protect our females, yes, but we also need to tell our boys not to do stuff, not to like okay, not to do the bad stuff, not to if she says no, leave it at that. Don't keep trying. If she gave you an answer, like stop. How to if you do see a girl in trouble, go run and fucking save her. Don't just sit there. But that kind of thing. But, oh my god, most of the society will just look at you like, okay, and walk by. They won't go and stop and help me. I'm just like, oh my god, because like all those times that someone could have stopped and helped, save that person or save that child. Like, come on, guys. Like, seriously.
Yeah, and it's really like something. I know we got into, like, this, more important discussion and everything like that, but it's one of the more crucial things that people need to be made aware of, because it's not like, as common, like, this is going to be a poor, metaphor, like, comparison, but, it's, like, you go onto the subway or you go to get a hot dog, or people are just walking around and they're kind of like in their own world in a
World.
way.
They are. They
Yeah.
really are on their phones and have the music on, doing their own thing, podcasts. They're just focused on themselves, but nothing around them.
And that's the dangerous bit,
But
because, like, people get so distracted by that they don't see what's
they miss a
yeah,
lot.
exactly. And it's just I you can't tell people not to do something, of course, but it's like you always have to
Yeah.
kind of ingrain into the society to be just a little more conscientious of, like, what is going on around you.
I do. I have to because driving alone or being on a bus alone or a light rail alone or anything doing alone, I'm constantly going, okay, look around, check the mirrors. All right, I'm reading, look up, look around, see if anyone's staring, or with my music too. Like, yeah, I would love to just sit and zone out, but I can't. And this is the thing coming from a female perspective and also being a mom perspective. Because, my, like, I see all these times where these people are like, oh yeah, we have a free car seat, come grab it. And next thing you know, they take your kid at like knife point, gunpoint. You're just like, that's why if I have to go grab something, especially something like that, I leave my kids at home with my husband because God forbid I'm not gonna. Or if I do have to bring the kids, my husband's coming with
Yeah.
me.
Like, you don't want to put them in that situation.
Because no, never. So I'm very because I don't ever since this pandemic started, they have not been to a store. And we used to take them to the store almost every Friday to go food shopping. And I've noticed that it's been very hard on all of us because of that, because now we have to figure out, all right, who's going to the store? Okay, are we going to remember everything instead of both of us and go, hey, let's grab this. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Let's grab that too, kind of thing, and having 2 months instead of just one. Because if one of us goes, we always forget something.
Yeah, and that always seems to be the case too. I feel like because if I go to the grocery store, because like only one of us can be out at to currently right now, because lucky for us, since we're in New York, a lot of the death toll has been raised in the current county that we're close to. So it's like what was 30 deaths now turned into 400, and I was like,
Oh my
wow,
God.
thanks New York, I really appreciate you hustling over there.
Seriously, it's like, come on, people, don't just think about yourself, think of others too, because if there's so many people gone, who's gonna do this for you? Who's gonna do that for you? Well, they could have, but they died because you didn't want to protect yourself and others, so now you're screwed in the end. It's like, they need to, okay, they can be selfish, but they also gotta be open mind selfish too.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And I feel like they have to, like,
And,
this is a perfect PSA to say, wear your mask, wash your hands, please. For people,
yes,
even if you're just going to do it for yourself, do it for people like me who, like, have asthma and can't really go out to other places, okay? Just do it for the general population.
yeah. Especially yeah, or those who have autoimmune immune diseases and stuff that they can't ever leave the house now because of all this stuff. And it's just like, come on, guys, just think of others. Really, how hard is it to say, oh, I probably should be doing this? All right, it's something quick and easy. Yes, it's having a mask on your face is annoying, and sometimes it's a little claustrophobic because sometimes it does do that to me. But I found one that doesn't do that as well. I found one that will work for me, and I could put it on no issues. And now I don't have any issues of going it's too close to my face. But I'm still not only protecting myself, but my kids and others because, like, because I'm thinking of my mom who has asthma and diabetes, my abuelita who has a heart issue, my great grandma who has diabetes. It's like, and she's getting old, really old, and it's finally hitting her because she used to be skyrocketing through the freaking New York streets like no tomorrow. It's like, oh yeah, Bronx woman, Bronx girl, Bronx. Oh, I
Oh,
should say
yeah,
the
the
Bronx.
Bronx. Love that.
Yeah, Project Bronx too.
Oh,
Like,
lovely.
yeah, that's where she lives. So she's a tough little woman, and I love her to death. But it's like that thing. Like, I'm thinking of not only myself but others, but like someone else's grandma or someone else's child or husband, sister, wife, mother, father, that kind of thing. I think of every like, what if they lose this? Like, what if like that feeling of I don't want anyone to feel a loss because someone's stupidity or my stupidity. Because honestly, I take my mask off as soon as I get in the car because I'm like, no. But because it's been so cold lately, I've been wearing it 24/7 in the car, in the store, and in the car again because it's so cold. But one thing I always do is I'm always make sure I have my mask when I go to the store and my hands are washed and sanitized because I do not want to risk other people's life because I feel selfish and don't want to do what's best for not only myself but for others.
You see, guys? You see? Being a good person doesn't take a lot of effort.
Oh, it It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Because it's really isn't. And if you don't want to wear it, stay the fuck home. Easy as that. If you don't want to wear a mask, you don't want to be open about this, stay home. I'm sorry, but if you're just going to think of yourself, you should just stay
Yeah,
home.
exactly. Because it's not worth risking other people's health, lives, just
Because
anxiety.
you're feeling
Yeah.
meh,
Because
kind of
there's
thing.
so many people who
No.
have like anxiety about the pandemic as well. Because, we also have to think about like the invisible illnesses too. Because it's like for me personally, and I know for a lot of people, they have anxiety about, germs, about like all this kind of
No.
stuff. And I feel like so many people,
The OTPs and
yeah,
stuff, yeah.
exactly. And so many people like kind of try to trigger that to get a reaction. I feel sometimes, and it's just I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's like that. It's like, okay, because I have been diagnosed with depression and being stuck in the house. Because before, when I was stuck in the house, I would get so depressed because we only went out to my parents' house and we didn't go out anywhere else. We didn't do anything. And I got depressed because of that. Now, because this whole pandemic's happened, we weren't allowed to go out at all. And that hit me hard because I'm like, people, just wear your goddamn mask, just get this over with so we can go out again. Because now I'm stuck in a house with 2 kids under the age of 4, and then living with my in-laws does not help either. And then my husband and stuff, and we're all stuck in this one house all together. It just got to the point where it's just too much, and I was losing my mind. And I hit such an episode that I was so down, so low. I didn't get out of bed for a couple weeks. It was bad. But it's just like, come on, you gotta think of, like, people don't think of others. They really don't. They're willing to.
No, it takes like there are a lot of people who are special, and they do, like our frontline workers who during Valentine's Day, I feel like that was the only love that we should be giving is to them and our EMTs and everybody like that. But
Mail carriers and stuff. I see, like, so many people, like the doctors, EMTs, police officers, all of them that are out there 24/7, like, still working. And the thing is, I've also noticed that people always forget the mail people, the postman, because my dad is a postman, and he's so stressed about bringing it home because my mom's so asthmatic, and he gets so mad that people do not consider others because he's sitting here worried. And I've noticed that when he's at work more, he smokes more. He doesn't smoke at home very often, but I've noticed at work he starts to smoke more because of all the stress of, God forbid, if I bring this home, what's going to happen? Because he's out there every freaking day delivering people's mail that everybody touches. All, like, the mailboxes and all those, like, it's just like that's so, like, there's so much stuff that he has to make sure that he has gloves on and mask and a face protection on top of that. And it's just like, it's so much, and it just can't. He's like, come on.
like this, you guys, this is like real stories that you're hearing. Like, it's not just about the stream life. It's not just about like, oh, let's
Nope.
get those numbers, let's get those analytics. It's real stuff, and that's the thing of where like I have such respect not just for you, but for so many of the streamers who are providing content during this time, because it's kind of like a little bit of an escape, if I want to say,
Right.
because it
Yeah.
it allows people to be like, okay, we have this pandemic that's going on, yes, we need to pay attention to it, but also mentally we need like a break. And I feel like that's what we're kind of providing in a way for people to an extent.
Oh, yeah. I have noticed that when I do that, some people like, yay, you're streaming. Thank God. I've had a hell of a week, and they ranted that. I'm like, oh, and I do. I'm like, I generally, like, I feel bad for them because it's like they're going through all this shit and I can't do anything to help. But by me streaming and laughing and talking and being able to connect with them, I notice a change with their typing. Like, I may be reading into it a bit too much, but you notice how people, because if some people give short word answers, all right, either they're having a bad day or they're just sitting and lurking. Or if they were it depends on the cues. You just look for the cues and stuff, kind of thing. Like, yeah, you see them like earlier, they're typing giant paragraphs and they're so into it, and the next you know, one word answers like, something's not right. Or they start with one word answers, and next thing you know, they're going into giant paragraphs, and you're like, oh, I just made this person's day, or something like that. Just something to get them to connect, and it's just like getting their brain engaged and getting their mind off of whatever is bothering them. It's just that thing that helps so much, because sometimes I see it, like some people are telling me like their grandparents died, or they're stuck here, or they can't do this, and it's just like, fuck, I'm sorry, it sucks and stuff. I like, I know how you're feeling, but mine was so long ago, but I'm sorry this happened and stuff. That kind of, I connect with them, because it's like, it sucks, it really does. And it's just, being stuck in a house 24/7 gets to everybody, not just those who have mental issues. Those who don't have it too lose their mind, because they're stuck in a 4x4 square for hours and days or weeks on end, and they just lose their mind.
Yeah, and sometimes it's kind of hard to kind of like get used to the to the real world. You know, this isn't Fallout 4 or anything like that, but it kind of like, you know, excuse me, it kind of gets to that point of where like you have to learn how to associate with people, and I've kind of like become worried to an extent. Like, okay, when I take the mask off and people don't have to wear them, how do I like use my? It's such a weird thought. Bear with me, but how do I like use my face in front of people again? Because
Yeah,
you
it
know,
really is, because we've been so used to, for over a year now, we've had something covering from our nose down. And people, because I've noticed a lot that girls do half makeup now. They don't do the full makeup. So once we're able to take that mask off and go to places without having a mask, what are people gonna do? Like, are they gonna look grim all the time? Or are they gonna smile? Or are they gonna have full face? Or are they gonna have no makeup, full makeup? Like, after this, like, what are we gonna do? Because it's such a big what if, because we don't know how long this is gonna last. It's gonna last, if it's gonna last another year or two, or it's gonna be done by, they're thinking July, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Like, we don't know. It's still that big up in the air, as long as people follow the protocol that was given to us. But people don't, so it's kind of like it's that back and forth. Like, yay, we get so close to being done with it, and then because everyone thinks we're close to being done, they start taking off their masks too early, and then it skyrockets again.
yeah, and that's the thing of where like anytime that I see like someone who's not wearing their mask, and this is a whole shit fest on its own and everything like that, you know, I see, you know, they're interacting with people, and even though like a lot of the workers have like those plastic barriers in front of them and everything
Yeah.
like that, they have to be extra aware of not only how they're showing emotion on their face, because you only see it from like the eyes up, you don't see like anything
Oh,
else. Yeah,
yeah.
and they have to like be really careful with how they do things, because you'll see people, like I said, who don't wear their masks, who don't follow protocol and everything like that. And I feel like there are certain people who live in like another universe who like are still doing like, I don't even know how to describe it, like, you know, like just doing like insane things without really following what they should be doing. And once we're able to get back to that norm of like wearing the full face of makeup, or like showing our emotion on our face without the mask, I feel like it's going to be a very foreign situation.
It is. It will be. Oh, I gotta tell you an issue that happened to me. I was at Micro Center, and I'm waiting in line to return something, right? This woman's behind me. It sounds like she's in the government, something big kind of thing, because the way she was talking. There's spots for where you're supposed to stand. She was in between them, right behind me. Every time we moved up, I moved up to the next red square. She was right in the middle. I finally, in the most petty way, without saying a word to her, I looked at my feet, looked at hers, looked at it again, looked at her feet, and went, hmm. I did that twice to finally get her to, other words, back off.
I love that. I freaking love that.
And I'm not done yet. And then we have this spot where if there's a 190 turn, they have that completely blocked off where you can't stand in that. So it's like a clear, keep area clear zone with the lines and stuff, right? So I'm able to move ahead. She tries to start walking. I turn around and look at her like, And I went back to what I was doing, was standing there. She finally got off the phone, was about to say something, and my husband walked right up, just right then. I'm like, oh, hi, love, and quiet.
I can't even picture being in that like situation, being like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
I just sat here, I'm like, go ahead, say something, please. I've been in a mood. It was just like that, and I like, yeah, that's okay, love. People don't know how to read. And he looks at me like, huh? I'm like, yeah, people don't know how to read, and I pointed him to the floor, and he's like, ah. And that's all it was said about it. And it was just the most petty poke to a Karen that I've ever done. That's the first time I've ever dealt with one without dealing with the one. Because the way she was talking, it was just like, oh my god, who the hell I have behind? Sorry if your name's Karen out there, but God forbid.
It's one of those, yeah.
Women
It's one of those things of where like you see it happen, and it's just like, what? How you do not know how to read the room? What is going on here?
Or like I've seen so many stories and read so many stories of people being mistaken for employees and being so rude about like hello, I do not work here.
Mistaken for employees.
That kind of
like
thing.
What? Oh my god.
Like they're not even dressed like an employee at all. And then they get asked for stuff, and I'm like, how do you confuse people like that?
I don't get
like how?
That just makes me just have such like, I don't know. I'm just like, that makes me so sad, because it's like there are actually people who work and think and function like that on a day-to-day basis.
Daily basis. And I feel bad for those who are kids of them that deal with that. Either they turn out opposite from their parents, or they start following their parents' suit, and I feel so bad for them, because no one should live like that. No one should be treated like that. And I've been lucky because I haven't really seen it as often, but the stories I've read or heard, I'm just like, really?
Yeah, it's absolutely cringeworthy. But I do have to say, we're going to get into one last thing before we close off the podcast. I do want to say, by the way, it has been so much fun having you on here, because it's like we've been talking about like such a range of topics. I absolutely love it. Yes. But I want to know, before we get going, because I always like to ask this question of people who come onto the podcast, what is your favorite anime?
You have to pick such a hard fucking topic.
Sorry.
God damn it. There's just so many. Oh my god.
If you want to you could do a top 3 then.
Top 3. Oh, that's even so hard. Because there's just so many. It depends on what genre you're going for. If you're going for the traditional, or the random, or the weird. There's so many.
It's true.
Oh, fuck.
I got her, you guys. I got her.
Oh my god. I'm like, I don't know what to say, because there's so many. I guess I can start off with one that I actually got into and I finished within 2 weeks after starting it, and it had like over 100 episodes. Inuyasha.
Oh, so good.
I love that one. But the thing that started me getting into anime was Naruto. It really was. But it's good. It's just there's so many fillers.
Yeah, there is.
If it didn't have as many fillers, I'd probably like it a lot better. But it's kind of like top. It's like my 4th favorite, not quite there. Black Butler, definitely one of my faves. I love Sebastian. I don't know if it. Oh my god, that just demeanor of like, sure, yeah, but I'm still gonna make everything nice and tidy here. Like, go ahead, fuck with me. It's not gonna end well. There's so many, like, I could go off on a tangent on it. Because there's so
And we have actually gone off on several tangents about anime.
I know, I don't think we need to go on more, but oh my god, there's so many. Because I watched the first season of Attack on Titan, and I love that, and I haven't touched it since because, hello, mom. And then there's ones that people don't hear of very often, like Bamboo Blade. It's about, like, people, basically it's like sword fighting, but it's the bamboos. I forgot what it's Kendo kind of thing. I think it's what it's called. I'm not sure if that's right.
I don't know either, to be honest with you.
It's been a while. It's been such a long time since I watched it. And then Fruits Basket's the original, and then the new version that they did was 2 seasons. There's also, of course, the original Sailor Moon or DBZ. There's like so many.
There is there, and you know that's the hard part about trying to choose like a good anime, because it's like I remember back in the day,
Yeah.
the very first anime I watched, and it's still one of my favorite animes till today, is Hellsing. But the other two I would have to pick for my personal favorites are, let's see, Blue Exorcist
Hmm.
and Sailor Moon, because Sailor Moon's a classic.
Yeah, that one's a classic. Because like there's like the anime and then there's American anime, which is depending on who does it can be sometimes good. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender, that anime was
I never
good.
saw it actually.
With Legend of it's really good. It really is. And then Legend of Korra for the like sequel of it is so good too. And then there's Ruby, RWBY. Oh my god, by Rooster Teeth. I love it. You could see where they first started to where they are now. Oh my lord, it's so freaking good. You've
I'll
got
have
to
to check
watch
it
it.
out. That's okay. Yeah, I have so many anime that I need to catch up on, but that's one I have to check out as well. Excuse me. I just hiccuped. It's too early to be hiccuping right now.
I know it's like it's ridiculous in how early it is. It's just, but still like there's so many anime, and I'm just like, huh.
One that, what was it? It's a manga. I don't know if they turned it into an anime yet, but the English translation, it had me giggling because, okay, short story before we leave off today's podcast. I was at Barnes and Noble back for my birthday last year, right? And I was going to the anime section and the manga section because that's just where my home is in Barnes and Noble, okay? Besides the game section, I was sitting there reading all the other ones and I saw this cover. It was a beautiful cover filled with cherry blossoms and like kind of pastel-y looking colors. It looks so pretty. And I look at the title and I see the name and I was like, what is this? It said, I want to eat your like your oh god, now I'm forgetting the fucking word. Damn it. Like your oh, I want to eat your pancreas.
Huh?
Yeah. I was like, how do you have this pastel kawaii looking like picture as the front cover of it, and it's like, oh,
A
I
bold
want to eat your
title.
pancreas. It's like, what are you doing? I was laughing
Oh,
so hard at Barnes and Noble. As there were people staring, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm having a moment right now. Excuse me.
there's one manga that I loved. It was called, I think, Crescent Moon. It was so good. It was about a basically the demon world loving a human. So a demon loving a human, and it was so good. And I guess back in the day, like the demon king fell in love with the human princess. They fell in love, that kind of thing. And then something happened to tear them apart. And then like 500 years pass. They both that these are two different beings, and it's just like and going back and forth. It's just like, oh my god, I love it so much. I need to buy it again because I had borrowed it from a friend, and oh my god, I need it because it was so freaking
Yeah, but the
good.
other one, there are just so many manga that are absolutely amazing because, you know, like Death Note, that's my favorite manga, hands down.
I tried watching it and I
Oh,
couldn't.
really?
He's creepy. He's too fucking creepy for my taste. I'm
Wait,
like,
which one are you talking about? You
you
talking about like Yagami or Ryuk?
probably
Oh yeah, the
Ryuk.
demony thingy. Yeah, I thought I thought he
Yes.
I okay, the fact that he eats apples and the fact that he's just like there being like funny. I was like, that's a great contrapositive for that.
I know. I just can't. I couldn't. I tried. After watching the first episode, I was like, nope, I'm good.
And it strikes one again for Silver being scared of the adorable creepiness.
Yeah. I know. I just sometimes I can handle it with certain ones, and just others I'm like,
I
mm.
understand that.
Like,
There's some anime that kind of like, well, not just anime, I feel like even manga that kind of push that limit of between morbid and cute, and I'm like, uh, okay, I like it, but what are you doing exactly?
seriously, like some scenes in Black Butler, are like, oh my god, what am I watching? And the next thing you know, it goes into very, like, huh? Like, what the fuck just
Yeah,
happened?
I mean they go from like, ooh, I want to eat your soul to like, oh my god, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, like, huh? At 180 here.
Exactly.
I wasn't ready for
At least it's
180.
not hentai because that's no.
Oh my god, no, 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 no.
Oh my god, but you guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me here because honestly, like
I had a lot of
for
fun.
the people who are watching, you guys, thank you for listening, and Silver, thank you for being a part of the podcast because
It's a lot of
it's
fun.
just been such a genuinely good time because it's like we get along so well, and I
Yes.
feel like it works out so much better with someone you get along with doing a podcast because there's no awkward like silence or pauses or any of that stuff, and I'm just like, oh, that makes me so like anxiety filled because I always try to like find a way to fill the air, but with our conversations and with
Yes.
a lot of the people who I've had on this podcast, that hasn't been the case, so that's good.
No. And I also like that we both started talking at once, and then one of us stopped, so the other one could first finish, and then someone else went off, like immediately went off, like, oh yeah, from this, this, and this, but including that old viewpoint they were about to say, but didn't want to interrupt. So we weren't interrupting each other very much, and even if we started to, we were like, okay, let me wait, wait,
Yeah,
wait, wait. Okay, now let me
exactly,
go.
exactly, and I love that. And it's kind of like we can, like I said before, like with other people reading the room, I feel like we can read our room very well with our conversation too. So,
Yep.
but thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. And you guys, if you guys have not checked out Silver, please be sure to check out her Twitch and her Twitter. It will be down in the description below for your viewing pleasure, just where I put everything else. If you guys want to check out the Patreon where you guys can support what I do, please be sure to follow that link as well, and I will have everything else down there below so you guys can follow me on all the social media as well as Silver. And you guys, if you all like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe, hit the bell down below. If you guys are following me through Spotify, thank you so much for listening, and we'll be having a new podcast out that will be just me next week discussing some very interesting topics that you guys might want to stick around for. So stay casually nerdy. I will see you all in the next podcast and the next video on YouTube. Bye guys.
Bye.